Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday morning, March 2nd. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and SPY. Again, 75 minutes to go prior to the opening. And what are the odds of a gap? Probably pretty good. What are the odds of the gap not holding? Probably even better. Right now, we've been trading in the ES and SPY below yesterday's low. SPY has a double distribution. That's from 4 to 8. This is from this morning to now, so they have a double distribution on theirs. NQ also looking to possibly gap lower. And the righty has traded below yesterday, but right now is inside of yesterday's range. Remember, if we take out yesterday's low at any point today in the ES and SPY, we will be firmly down on the daily. I gave them a little bit of leeway stretching it, but if we go down again, taking out, this would be 3 days in a row of one-time framing, and I would definitely call the daily down then at that point. So we'll see if the bulls can defend yesterday's low. Another thing that's going to come into play right now, SPY is literally trading right at its 200-day moving average. I like to use the ETFs moving averages because it just seems like in the futures with the whether people back adjust or don't with the rollovers and everything, it just seems there's so many different numbers for all those different averages with 24 hours, regular trading hours. So I think it's just a little more concrete for me to use the ETFs. So right now, SPY is literally sitting on their 200-day moving average, where they'll also be right at that trend line on both the daily and below it on the weekly from last year. So they're putting themselves in a bit of a tenuous position here, the bulls. Incredibly, the last 2 days have been two of the top 10 smallest ranges of the year, but two of the top 10 highest volumes of the year. That's been pretty interesting. We battled this 39.50-55 level all day again yesterday. Right now, again, it's pre-market, so we're not sure if it's going to be breached. But for now, we're trading down at the 39.40 level. As far as the game plan for this morning, again, gaps just have not held. So the gap and go crowd has been absolutely annihilated this year. So if the gap is, I used to love gaps of $1 or less to take the short against it if it was a gap lower, because that was great risk reward, because generally you didn't gap that much, and when you did, they held. Well, this is totally opposite this year, where the gaps are almost, it's every other day, and they're not holding. So again, I don't think I would look to short the gap right away if it's this small. It's because it's just the history of it so far for this year. Do I want to take a long to fill it? That's a possibility. But then the next thing is, what are you going to lean on? Because your overnight low right now is all the way down to 24 and change. So in the next 75 minutes, it depends on how big the gap would be, if we even have one. Remember, if we don't gap lower, there's nothing inside of here except our 9-wide POC. Remember how I said how weird that was? The POC was lowered all the way to K's high in ES? That's a pretty weird place to lower the POC to get it 9-wide. Well, right now, it's coming to fruition why it's down there, as we're possibly looking to gap lower. So again, if the gap doesn't hold, I would see what happens back up at the 9-wide point of control. If it just gets to that and that's it, and they keep value lower, overlapping low, I'd still look for shorts then at that point. But any acceptance back into value, you know what you're going to do, right? You're going to trade M's range from yesterday. So especially if you don't get the overnight low and you do get above POC and into value, well, guess what? Odds are you go test M's range and the overnight high. I mean, you're dealing with such fragile, emotional, short-term traders that they change on the drop of a hat. So just keep that in mind. Again, in our trading room, we're adjusting to this all day as it happens live, because it's a live webinar in here. It is every morning. And then on the chart, so the monthly definitely changed. It came back into balance. It's a 5-month balance for me right now. The weekly is firmly down. Right now, we're right at that trend line. Possibly could be below it when we open. And the daily, which I was given the benefit of the doubt, there's a large balance. If we take out yesterday's low, we'll be firmly down, testing the 200-day moving average and testing that lower high trend line from last year. Thanks for the likes and subscribing. Good luck trading today, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.